The government and the mainstream media for the last few months have been running a campaign of lies and fear-mongering amongst the British people. A survey in the Daily Telegraph a few weeks ago showed that 59% of the population thought the government was misleading them.
Good.
20% of the population believed COVID-19 was a hoax. We voted, or people voted Boris in because they wanted freedom from EC control. And we got far worse.
Yep.
We've been imprisoned in our homes under house arrest for 3 months.
Yep.
Millions of people have lost their jobs. Thousands of businesses have been destroyed. And millions of people have lost their livelihoods. Why did we lock down? It started based on Neil Ferguson from Imperial College saying that...
Fucked up Ferguson. 500.
Yeah, boo. He predicted 500,000 people would die in the UK. And he said that 2 million in the US would die. He was totally wrong. It was complete, utter bullshit. Absolutely. And we did the lockdown based on that. We locked down on the 23rd. Even on the 19th, the government said that it was no longer a high consequence infectious disease. Absolutely. So the lockdown was done on a completely false premise. If we look at the true statistics now, the CDC, who always exaggerate, have admitted that the mortality rate is 0.26%. The WHO have had to admit that people who are asymptomatic do not transmit the disease. The FDA have finally agreed that people that do are tested using the RT-PCR test, 50% of the tests are false positive. So if you've been tested positive, you will not necessarily have the disease. The other statistic the government loves is something called the R factor, or the R ratio. But the R ratio is based on how many people get infected, but the infection rate is very, very low. The contagion rate is now proved to be very, very low. So it's a complete bullshit statistic that they are sticking to. The other issue is, what are the real mortality rates? I did an interesting exercise on government National Health England statistics up to the 16th of July, and it's on my face page and also on the Free People Alliance. And it showed within England, 27,000 people had died allegedly of COVID. But when you take away the underlying causes, it was 1,379. And we make it just for people under 60, and it was 302 people have died without underlying causes. And that excludes people that had accidents, people that died of medication, people that committed suicide, depression, all sorts of other reasons. So the real figure is much lower than that. So I see it, this is really a critical time for us in the UK and across the world. We are at a crossroads and we're on a precipice, because this is a time of awakening on many different levels. And initially we are awakening to what has been going on our planet for quite a long time. We've been under the control of a minority interest group that are like, they're a small minority and they've been like a parasite to the people on this planet. So what is it that we want? Do we want to be free people, free to pursue our dreams and goals? Or do we want a surveillance society where we're monitored and controlled of everything that we do?
This is the choice.
Technology at the moment is growing fantastically, amazing, really, really well. And with that technology, we can all enjoy a much higher standard of living and be able to do the things we really want to do. but the globalists want to use that technology instead to monitor and control us and to take all the resources away from us. Also, on the awakening on another level it's a spiritual awakening as well.
Yep.
Human beings are ready to move on to a next stage of consciousness.
Yes.
And it's happening throughout the world. Absolutely, we're going to move to that fifth dimension, no doubt about it.
Yes.
But the globalists, one of the reasons they want 5G is because they want to bring us down on the spiritual level, because we have electrical fields around our bodies, and 5G disturbs our electrical fields.
Yep.
And will stop us growing spiritually, stops our awareness. On an economic level, again, the technology, we can have a huge economic resurgence if we don't have these bankers, these small factions taking all the resources from us.
Yep.
But what they want to do, as they did on the lockdown, they want to crash the economy. They want us to break all the small companies so we become dependent, and if we're dependent on the state, then we can be controlled. So what do we want? Do we want to live in a culture which is made of love and mutual respect, or do we want a culture which is based on fear and control? I know what I want. I want to be a free person.
Yes.
And I feel this is something not worth fighting for.
Yes.
And it's not just for ourselves, it's for our beautiful children,
Yeah.
our friends and families, our organizations.
Yeah.
We want to be free beings.
Yes.
I see it, there's nothing more important than fighting this at this time.
Yes.
Because if we don't fight it, we're effectively accepting it and consenting to it, and we cannot do that.
That's true.
The second wave, they keep talking about that second wave, and they're going to try and make the second wave coming based on false infection rates when it's not a dangerous disease. We may not be able to stop them declaring a second wave, but working together, we can definitely stop any more lockdowns. We just cannot have any more lockdowns.
No.
The
Yes.
first lockdown has been really devastating to many people. Lots of companies are hanging on a precipice. They survived just. But if we have another lockdown, it's going to be far more destructive. We cannot allow another lockdown.
Yep.
Also looking at herd immunity, how on earth can we ever get herd immunity if we keep locking down? We will never get it, and they're going to be locking down for the next 10 years.
They want to steal our businesses.
Yep.
Absolutely.
They want to socialize the economy. That's why the only people can bail out.
So we will never get herd immunity that way. We will just destroy our economy completely.
And our immunity.
We will destroy the country, and we will destroy the beautiful people in it.
Yep.
So if we do not act now, it will get worse, because we're just acquiescing and consenting. And they've taken these freedoms away from us. And they're not just going to freely give it back to us. We have got to fight and say we are going to demand our freedoms back, because it's not acceptable to us. We are free human beings.
Yep.
So we have to push back, and we can push back in several different ways. One way is what we're all doing. We are sharing information. We've got to let the masses know what's actually going on, because if we don't do that, it's a lot of information for them to confront. So we have to be kind and gentle with them, but if we don't inform them, they will drag us all into this control state.
Yep.
So we have got to educate the people.
Yep.
We've got to stop acquiescing and consenting and agreeing to these stupid rules they keep putting upon us. So we just refuse absolutely to do it.
Absolutely. No mask for me.
Anyone that does try to enforce rules upon us, we've got to challenge them at every opportunity.
Yes.
It's not acceptable to us. Make it really hard for them to implement these measures.
Yep.
Okay, that's all I've got to say.
Thank you.